In this series, we will talk about reports. Patricia is an IP system that keeps a record of all your cases. But record keeping is of little use if you cannot extract the data into a meaningful format. Luckily, Patricia caters fully for this via reports. In Patricia, we have two kinds of reports. The first are reports that are pre-built in Patricia that you can use. These reports include both the criteria sets and the actual report layouts themselves. This is great because the majority of your needs will be met by using these reports. These reports are accessible in the report drop-down here, and then choose Run Report. But what if you have a requirement that does not fall within the pre-built reports? Perhaps a very specific, unique type of report that you need. This leads us to the second kind of report, the user-created report. In Patricia, you can create your own criteria sets and report layouts from scratch. This means you can create a fully custom report to be used. This area can be accessed by clicking on Reports and Create Reports. We'll discuss the creation of reports at a later stage. For now, let's go back to the Report Run area. I will click on Report and then Run Report. When you do this, the Run Report window will open. As we've seen before, you have various types of reports listed here. Clicking on each page gives you a detailed subsection of possible reports to run. When you want to run a report, you first need to choose the report type. So let's say I want a financial report, so I will click on the Financial button. Note that when I do this, the content area is blank. Choosing the type of report I want is not enough. I now need to select the actual report from the subsection. Let's choose Cost Summary. When I click on this, you can see that the content area updated with the relevant search criteria. Great, so let's briefly look at our options. First, we have Standard Case Reports, which list various case-related reports. We then have the financial reports under Standard Financial Reports. This followed by our name reports under Standard Name Reports. We can see all audit log information under the Log Reports page. The statistical reports gives us vital statistical information like reciprocity. We then have two additional options where we run custom reports, so reports that we created ourselves. First, we have our Custom Reports area. We also have the Report Runner, which runs reports created in the maintenance application. Let's take a look at the standard case reports. I will not be covering all of these in detail. If you want information on a specific report, kindly refer to the Patrick's help file. The first option we have is the Case Summary, which prints out the details of a single case. This report is in the form of an overview that shows important information. You can choose the type of report you want by changing the settings here. You can also include additional information by ticking the tick boxes shown here. A Case Family report allows you to print a report based on family cases. Next, we can print existing workflows by clicking on Workflow Sheet. The user has the ability to generate workflows by making a selection in the list shown here and then clicking on View. A list of the terms on the workflow will now appear. All of the case report options up to now seems a bit limiting. The next area is the bread and butter of case reports, and this is found under Report Client List. The reason why we call this the client list is because often this is used to generate reports that clients request. You have three options available that define the type of report that you will get. The standard client list creates an extended report with all case information. This report is the one that gives you the most options when it comes to choosing criteria and how the report will look. The client list limited has far less customizability and is often used for quick report generation. The portfolio report is similar to the client list standard, but has a slightly different layout and contains less information. Let's start with the client list standard. When accessed, the client list standard window will appear. This window is divided into two parts. First, we have our criteria selection, which define which cases are returned in the results. Below this, we have our report layout, which defines how these results will be displayed. Let's generate a report. First, at the top, I can define both a name number and a name type. So my client, Happy Face Inc., requested that I send them a list of trademarks where they are their account address. We define this here. I will search for and then return the name number. I will then choose the name type account address to limit my results to only this. We said we only wanted to see trademark cases, so let's define this here. If you want to include multiple case types, hold down Ctrl on your keyboard while clicking. Next, let's limit this to only South Africa under the country drop-down. This should be enough to get the results I want, but take note that we have several more options available. These include catchword, team leader, diary fields, and so on. Let's click OK. The report looks a bit bare bones at the moment, so let's add more information. Back in my client list window, let's look at the report layout. The client requested that we display the goods, so I will tick that box. I will also tick the classes and diary information. Let's include the case status and device. Now click OK to generate my report. Great, so this looks OK, except for the sort order. I want to change the sort order to be by catchword. I can do this in my client list window by changing the sort order here. Click OK again. Perfect, my report looks great. I can now export this report to client by clicking on Save to PDF button. Let's take a quick look at the limited client list. Here we once again make our selection by account number. I will insert the same name number we used earlier. Let's limit it to only trademarks by clicking on the T radio button here. Finally, choose the sort order, which will be catchword. Now run the report. Great, our report looks good. Notice that we have far less options available to us, and thus this is a much more limited option. Quite handy if you just want basic information. Also note that we can export this not only to PDF but also to Excel. The last report is the portfolio report, and it's very similar to the client list standard. The difference here though is that you cannot choose the information that appears on the report itself. The information is pre-built and cannot be changed. Let's run the same report and see the results. Perfect, it's as we expected. The client list you use really depends on your requirements.